They are called the Doomsday Preppers, and they say the whole mess in Washington is but one sign of impending disaster. And these guys are not taking any chances. Here's ABC's David Wright.
What if the end came not with a bang, or a boom, or the blast of a trumpet, the seventh trumpet of Revelations, that is, heralding the final woe of the apocalypse? No, what if the end were self-inflicted? What if all it took was a breakdown of the political system we all take for granted to trigger the ultimate collapse of civil society? A collapse significant enough to cause a run on the banks and the gas pumps and the grocery store shelves. That's a doomsday scenario. And that's the lens through which doomsday preppers view what's been going on in Washington this week.
The economy is by far number one. I would say 80 to 90% of the people that I deal with, they're concerned about where the country is heading economically. They're worried about their future jobs.
Scott Hunt runs a doomsday academy of sorts in South Carolina, training people to be self-sufficient in the end of days. His company, Practical Preppers, is a one-stop shop for survival. The last few weeks, he says, business has been booming.
We've seen a considerable uptick in emails, phone calls, a lot of contact through social media for help, whether it's teaching, whether it's equipment, installations, information.
Hunt is also a consultant for the National Geographic Channel show Doomsday Preppers. He says his customers are deeply concerned.
I mean, it's unsettling when the government doesn't function, and the government's there to serve and protect its people, and when it's not functioning, then there's an uneasiness in people from all walks of life.
He says one of the big things his customers fear is anarchy. To them, it doesn't matter if anarchy is brought on by natural or man-made disaster. Doesn't matter whether it's encouraged by left-wing activists angry at big corporations or right-wing activists angry at big government. Either way, the result they see is the same. In the future they see, it's every man and every woman for themselves.
I'm preparing for an economic collapse.
Kurt is one of the stars of the new season of Doomsday Preppers.
The government has been infiltrated. It's been infiltrated by corporations, banks, financial institutions, labor unions, and a lot of special interests.
What scares him the most is the crushing burden of U.S. debt. Yes, even the deficit means doomsday to some people.
When our $16 trillion becomes due, we will be in big trouble and the government will be shut down, basically.
He's played out the movie in his head, and to him it looks an awful lot like Mad Max or The Road, post-apocalyptic.
When I have nothing else, I try to dream the dreams of a child's imaginings.
All the things that we take for granted every single day could possibly be gone. Gas for your car to get anywhere. Electricity could become an issue. Food will not be at your grocery store any longer. I think it could get really desperate and nasty.
Christine and Zoltan Heightens don't necessarily look like survivalists. She's a stay-at-home mom. He's a tennis instructor. They recently spent $800 each and a 3-day weekend learning how to escape if you're handcuffed in the trunk of a car and other survival lessons.
I'm not worried. I just want to be prepared.
Something's on the rumble, and if you can't, I think most people are anxious. I think most people can feel it. Who knows what it's going to be or where it's going to be, but I'd like to be prepared.
Prepared for even the most extreme crisis.
I worry about my girls and myself, and if something were to happen to him, I want to be able to take care of myself just as easily.
Their survival instructor, Kevin Reeve,
drop my knees,
who used to market software for Apple, says increasingly the people he trains are middle-class folks like the Heightens.
I'm getting a lot more citizens, just normal, everyday civilian American citizens who are saying, oh, you know what? Things are not going really good. Okay, now put one on each toe.
These folks are not crazy. In fact, you could argue that concern about the future of humanity is part of what makes us human. Over the centuries, the collective response to those existential concerns have given rise to the world's great religions. Faith of any sort may well be the ultimate manifestation of survivalism, a bulwark against humanity's extinction, offering reassurance that in the grand scheme, we'll come out okay. In the modern era, technology has given us new things to fear and new ideas how to survive.
Duck and cover under the table.
Baby boomers grew up with it.
Duck and cover. Atta boy, Tony.
So it's hardly surprising so many should turn to it now. They fall into two basic camps. There are the preppers, people like Tim Ralston, stockpiling for the inevitable.
Oh my God, quite a man cave.
He's taken over the family's two-car garage in Scottsdale and turned it into a staging area, crammed with canned food and water purification system.
Not bad? Not bad. Sugary.
And weapons, lots of weapons and ammo. He's planning to bury his cache in a container deep in the desert, and he's training his sons to defend it. At the other extreme, there are folks who take a less aggressive approach. Not the preppers, but the wilderness survivalists. People like Tom Brown, who runs a school where he trains people to live off the land. They see the preppers as potential victims of their own preparation.
Looking at that approach to survival, you are in prison. You're imprisoned by your structure. You're imprisoned by your supplies, your ammunition, your guns, everything involved. In fact, there's maps that you can get off the internet that tell you where these bunkers are. I don't want to be in one of those bunkers because it's called a supermarket.
As of tonight, both the preppers and the survivalists can breathe a bit easier. The fact that in Washington doomsday didn't come this time doesn't convince them they were wrong to fear it. As they see it, they now have a bit more time to get ready. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Los Angeles.